Great.
Yes.
So, first of all, obvious question, 40-year anniversary. It must be so nice to know the film's...
Imagine rising to fame, building an empire, and living the kind of life most people can only dream of, only to watch it all unravel in ways no one saw coming. What if the success that made you a household name came with secrets too shocking to reveal? What if the fortune you built was quietly slipping away, while the world still believed you had it all? Hollywood thrives on glitz and glamour, but behind the dazzling red carpets and million-dollar mansions, some of the biggest names in the industry are facing unimaginable struggles. From jaw-dropping financial downfalls to long-hidden confessions that could change everything we thought we knew, these stories aren't just about fame. They're about the price of it. One legendary star lost something so valuable it altered their life forever. Another made a decision so bold it defied the very industry that made them famous. And then there's the shocking truth about a celebrity's once thriving empire, now hanging by a thread. The headlines only scratch the surface, but what's happening behind closed doors is even more dramatic than anything Hollywood could script. What secrets are they desperately trying to keep hidden? And which unexpected twist will leave the world speechless? Stay with us as we unravel the untold side of Hollywood's most shocking developments. You won't believe what's coming next. She was Hollywood's beloved nanny, the woman with a voice like crystal. But behind that radiant smile was a secret buried for 6 decades. At 89, Julie Andrews is finally revealing the truth. The shocking, surgical mistake that silenced her golden voice, the hidden struggles within her marriage to Blake Edwards, and the one regret that has haunted her for years. What she has been keeping from the world all this time is nothing short of astonishing. Born Julia Elizabeth Wells on October 1, 1935, Julie's journey to stardom was anything but ordinary. Her mother, Barbara Ward Morris, was a gifted pianist who once dreamed of a life on stage, while her father, Edward Charles Wells, was a teacher. But when World War II tore through their lives, their marriage crumbled. In 1943, Barbara remarried Ted Andrews, a charismatic vaudeville performer whose presence would change Julie's life forever. Ted and Barbara spent their days touring England, entertaining soldiers, and Julie, still a child, was swept into their world of music and performance. But just when she thought she understood her family, she discovered a truth that shattered her reality. Edward Wells was not her biological father. Her mother had an affair with a family friend, making him Julie's real father. The revelation was shocking, but Julie never let it affect her bond with Edward Wells. Despite everything, he remained a cherished figure in her life until the very end. Ted Andrews, recognizing Julie's extraordinary talent, became her first real teacher. She wasn't just any child with a love for music. She had perfect pitch and an astounding vocal range that set her apart. Her formal training began when she was just 8 years old under the guidance of Madame Lillian Stiles Allen, a renowned concert soprano. Stiles Allen saw something in Julie that others had overlooked: raw, unmatched potential. She trained her rigorously, instilling discipline and precision in every note she sang. The amateur works until he can get it right. The professional works until he cannot go wrong, Stiles Allen would often tell her. Julie took those words to heart, dedicating herself to endless hours of practice. Traveling alone from London to Leeds for lessons, she endured freezing conditions in dimly lit rooms, but nothing could dampen her passion. Evenings were spent listening to stories of legendary musicians, drinking homemade ginger beer with her teacher, memories that would shape her forever. By the time she was 12, Julie was no longer just a student. she was a performer. On October 22, 1947, she made her professional debut at the London Hippodrome in Starlight Roof, stunning audiences with her performance of Je suis Titania. The standing ovation was proof she was destined for greatness. Just a year later, she performed for King George VI and Queen Elizabeth at the Royal Command Variety performance at the London Palladium. At 13, she became the youngest solo performer to ever grace that stage. That same year, while performing in Starlight Roof, she had an unscripted moment that won hearts. American comedian Wally Boag invited children on stage for his balloon act. Without hesitation, young Julie stepped forward and, instead of playing along, began to sing. The audience erupted in applause. It was a small moment, but one that showcased her natural charm and presence. Julie's career continued to skyrocket. She became a fixture on BBC radio programs like Up the Pole and Educating Archie, honing her comedic timing alongside seasoned entertainers. She soon took to the West End, starring in Aladdin and Humpty Dumpty. But it was her role as Cinderella that proved she wasn't just a singer. She was an actress. She had the rare ability to blend humor, warmth, and vulnerability, making her stand out in every performance. Then, at just 19, Broadway called. On September 30th, 1954, Julie made her debut in The Boyfriend, playing Polly Brown, a young girl dreaming of romance on the French Riviera. Her performance was magnetic, earning her the Theatre World Award for Outstanding Broadway Debut. But her biggest breakthrough was yet to come. The producers of My Fair Lady needed an actress who could bring Eliza Doolittle to life, a role that demanded both powerful vocals and deep emotional range. Julie was cast, and on March 15, 1956, she took to the stage. Night after night, audiences watched in awe as she transformed from a rough, unpolished flower girl to a poised, elegant lady. Her renditions of I Could Have Danced All Night and Wouldn't It Be Loverly became instant classics. The show ran for 2,717 performances, making it one of Broadway's longest-running musicals. Julie was nominated for her first Tony Award, but what many don't know is that she was never the first choice for the role. The part was initially offered to Mary Martin, a more established star at the time, but she turned it down. That decision changed Julie's life forever. Despite her enormous success on stage, Hollywood had other plans. When it came time to cast My Fair Lady for the big screen, Julie was overlooked. Instead, they chose Audrey Hepburn, whose singing voice was later dubbed. It was a controversial decision. Julie had already proven she could handle the role effortlessly. But rather than dwell on the disappointment, she moved forward and took on something even greater. On December 3, 1960, she stepped into the role of Queen Guinevere in Camelot, a sweeping musical about King Arthur's legendary kingdom. Opposite Richard Burton as Arthur and Robert Goulet as Lancelot, Julie brought depth, grace, and complexity to her character. She wasn't just playing a queen, she embodied the very essence of royalty. The show became a massive success, cementing her as one of the most versatile and talented performers of her generation. But behind the dazzling performances and standing ovations, there was always a part of Julie Andrews the world didn't see. A truth she kept locked away. She was Hollywood's golden voice, a performer who seemed untouchable. But even the brightest stars have their shadows, and for Julie, the most heartbreaking chapter of her life was just beginning. Camelot cemented Julie Andrews as a Broadway legend, but it was more than just another role. After the tragic assassination of John F. Kennedy in 1963, his widow, Jacqueline Kennedy, famously compared his presidency to the story of King Arthur's kingdom, calling it a brief, shining moment that would be remembered as Camelot. This sentiment forever linked Andrews's performance to a pivotal moment in American history. But Broadway wasn't the only place her talents were being recognized. In 1957, she starred in a live television broadcast of Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella, a musical written specifically for TV. Over 107 million people tuned in, more than half the U.S. population at the time. The performance was enchanting, and Andrews received a Primetime Emmy nomination, further solidifying her status as a household name. Then came Hollywood. Walt Disney was on the hunt for the perfect actress to bring Mary Poppins to life. Someone with an incredible voice, a commanding presence, and just the right amount of charm. Andrews was his ideal choice. The film premiered in 1964 and became an instant classic, grossing $31 million at the box office. Songs like A Spoonful of Sugar and Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious became cultural phenomena. At the 37th Academy Awards, she won the Oscar for Best Actress, a victory made even sweeter by the fact that she had beaten Audrey Hepburn, the very actress who had taken the role of Eliza Doolittle from her in the film adaptation of My Fair Lady. Hollywood had underestimated her, and now she was on top of the world. Her next film was even bigger. The Sound of Music, released in 1965, became one of the highest-grossing films of all time, earning $286 million worldwide. Her portrayal of Maria von Trapp was filled with warmth, strength, and undeniable joy. The film's opening scene, where she twirls on a picturesque mountaintop, remains one of the most iconic moments in cinema history. But filming wasn't as effortless as it appeared. The helicopter capturing the shot created powerful winds that repeatedly knocked her over. She later laughed about the experience, joking that she was flattened into the grass after every take. The film went on to win 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, cementing Andrews as one of Hollywood's most bankable stars. Determined to prove her versatility, Andrews took on the dramatic role of Emily Barham in the Americanization of Emily in 1964, a World War II film that explored patriotism and war from a sharp, critical perspective. The film was a departure from her previous roles, and she showcased her ability to handle complex, emotional material. She then teamed up with legendary director Alfred Hitchcock for the Cold War thriller Torn Curtain in 1966, starring alongside Paul Newman. Despite its financial success, Hitchcock reportedly felt the film lacked the raw edge he wanted, and it received mixed reviews. Later that year, she took on the lead role in Hawaii, an epic historical drama based on James Michener's novel. With a record-breaking budget of $15 million, it was one of the most expensive films ever made at the time. Despite the challenges of filming, including torrential rains and tidal wave alerts, the movie became the highest-grossing film of the year, earning $34.5 million domestically. Unexpectedly, the film's breakout star was Jocelyn Lagarde, a first-time actress who played a Hawaiian queen. Her performance was so powerful that she won a Golden Globe, stealing some of the spotlight from Andrews. By the late 1960s, Julie Andrews was still one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. But change was in the air. 2 films nearly derailed her career. The first, Star, 1968, was a lavish biopic about stage actress Gertrude Lawrence. Directed by Robert Wise, who had helmed The Sound of Music, the film had a massive $14 million budget. However, something didn't click. Critics felt Andrews's performance was overly theatrical, and audiences failed to connect with the story. The film flopped, becoming one of Hollywood's most expensive failures. Then came Darling Lily, 1970, directed by her husband, Blake Edwards. This World War I spy film was meant to reinvent her image, but everything that could go wrong did. Reshoots stretched on, the budget ballooned to $25 million, and the film struggled to find an audience. Andrews attempted to break free from her wholesome image by taking on a more daring role, even performing a striptease scene that shocked audiences. But it wasn't enough. The film was a disaster, and critics panned it. The back-to-back failures marked the end of her reign as Hollywood's top musical star. Strangely, despite the box office disasters, she still earned Golden Globe nominations for both films. She was respected, but it was clear Hollywood was moving on. If she wanted to stay relevant, she had to pivot. She turned to television. In 1972, she launched The Julie Andrews Hour, a variety show that allowed her to showcase her diverse talents beyond film. It was an attempt to reinvent herself, to prove that she was more than just a leading lady in musicals. The industry was changing, and so was she. But would it be enough to keep her at the top? The answer was still uncertain, and the next chapter of her career would be filled with unexpected twists, challenges, and a dramatic fight to reclaim her place in Hollywood. Few reality TV duos captured attention quite like Brandy and Jared. When they first appeared on Storage Wars, their dynamic was electric. Brandy, sharp-eyed and strategic, often catching valuable items Jared overlooked. As the seasons progressed, she evolved from a hesitant participant into a powerhouse, confidently outbidding competitors and proving she had a natural instinct for treasure hunting. Viewers were hooked on their on-screen chemistry, but behind the scenes, things were far from picture perfect. Their rising fame led to their own spin-off series, Brandy and Jared, Married to the Job, an inside look at their life beyond the auction block. Balancing business, family, and reality TV was no easy feat. The show provided a rare glimpse into their struggles, from managing their retail store to raising their 2 children while staying competitive in the cutthroat storage industry. Though short-lived, it showed a different side of the couple, one that was less about bidding wars and more about the sacrifices required to stay on top. But as their empire expanded, their relationship unraveled. By 2018, they had split, and what followed was anything but amicable. The separation turned into a bitter dispute, with Brandy accusing Jared of being absent as a father. Tensions escalated in public, with paparazzi capturing heated exchanges that painted a stark contrast to their once playful banter. Then, in 2021, Brandy made a bold statement, a fresh tattoo symbolizing a new chapter, a break from the past, and a quiet declaration that she was moving forward. While she has maintained a strong online presence, Jared has remained noticeably distant from the spotlight, his once booming business ventures now a mystery. Meanwhile, Renee and Casey Nzota took a different path. When Storage Wars hit a hiatus after Season 12, many cast members moved on. But not Renee and Casey. By 1979, Andrews was ready for something different. She starred in the romantic comedy 10, opposite Dudley Moore, a film that became a massive box office success, grossing $74 million in the U.S. It marked her triumphant return to Hollywood, but she wasn't done breaking expectations. In 1981, she shocked audiences with S.O.B., a satirical takedown of the industry, followed by Victoria in 1982. This film wasn't just a hit. It was groundbreaking. Playing a struggling singer who pretends to be a male performer, Andrews took on a daring role that defied stereotypes. The film grossed $28 million and earned her a Golden Globe win and an Oscar nomination, solidifying her as more than just a musical star. She was an actress, willing to take risks. Behind the glitz, Andrews's personal life was a tapestry of love, heartbreak, and resilience. Her first marriage to Tony Walton, a set and costume designer, seemed like a fairy tale. They shared creativity, love, and a daughter, Emma. But with her soaring career came long distances, and by 1967, their marriage unraveled. Emotionally drained, Andrews turned to therapy, a decision that would shape her future. Encouraged by director Mike Nichols, she found clarity and strength, realizing that even icons need help sometimes. Then, fate stepped in. Outside a therapist's office, she met director Blake Edwards. Their connection was instant. Both had endured failed marriages. Both sought solace in each other. Despite their 13-year age gap, their bond only deepened. By 1969, they were married, and their love story became one of Hollywood's rare, enduring romances. Andrews became a stepmother to Edwards's children, and together, they adopted 2 daughters from Vietnam. Professionally, they collaborated on 7 films, including Victor/Victoria. While not every project was a hit, their love remained unwavering for 41 years, until Edwards's passing in 2010. As the 1980s unfolded, Andrews tackled deeply personal roles, such as That's Life in 1986, a film about a woman facing the possibility of illness, an eerie parallel to her real life. Around that time, doctors found a lesion on her throat. While she continued acting, even earning Golden Globe nominations, her most defining battle was yet to come. In the 90s, Andrews embraced television. She starred in Julie in 1992, a sitcom directed by her husband. But the show struggled and was canceled after 7 episodes. Still, she found success elsewhere. Her Christmas special won 5 Emmys, and her Broadway return in Putting It Together reminded audiences why she was a legend. But her true Broadway moment came in 1995, when she reprised her role in Victor/Victoria. The show ran for over 700 performances, and when she received a Tony nomination, she shocked everyone by rejecting it. Why? Because the rest of her cast hadn't been recognized. It was a rare act of defiance, proving that even in Hollywood, she played by her own rules. Her return to Disney in The Princess Diaries, 2001, was a full-circle moment. Playing Queen Clarice, she charmed a new generation, mentoring Anne Hathaway while proving that grace and humor never fade. The film grossed $165 million worldwide, and she reprised her role in the sequel, even delivering a rare singing moment, despite losing her full voice after a devastating vocal surgery in 1997. That surgery was supposed to be routine, a simple procedure to remove a lesion from her vocal cords. Instead, it left her permanently scarred, silencing one of the most iconic voices in history. The loss was unbearable. Speaking became difficult, and singing, her greatest gift, was gone. In 1999, she filed a malpractice lawsuit, reaching a private settlement, but no amount of money could replace what she had lost. In the following years, she sought cutting-edge treatments, undergoing multiple surgeries to restore her voice. While they helped her speak more comfortably, the damage was irreversible. But Julie Andrews didn't disappear. She reinvented herself yet again. She turned to writing, co-authoring children's books with her daughter Emma. She supported vocal restoration research, hoping that future generations wouldn't suffer as she did. And she continued acting, lending her voice to animated films like Shrek and narrating Disney's Enchanted, proving that even without her singing voice, her presence could still light up the screen. In 2016, she directed a My Fair Lady stage production, ensuring its legacy remained intact. In 2017, she co-created Julie's Green Room, an educational show teaching children about the performing arts. Her passion never wavered. Despite heartbreak, she found new ways to share her artistry with the world. Julie Andrews lost her ability to sing, but her legacy is untouchable. From Broadway to Hollywood, from fairy tale princess to nightclub performer, she broke barriers, shattered expectations, and inspired generations. And though the world will never hear her sing again,